Morning. I've just taken a couple of pictures over to the exhibition that's forthcoming at the Corner Gallery in Carshalton Beaches, Surrey, or South London suburb. So I'm quite optimistic. I'm going to paint a low horizon again because that is the theme of this exhibition for the next few weeks. Now, I know some of you are having a bit of a problem with the Hake. Well, we all, it's not an easy brush to use. The problem that most of you are having is that it splits when it dries off a bit, and there's not enough water in the brush. But look, it goes into these clumps. The stitching, they're stitched into the ferrule here with and glued in these regular clumps. So what you do is you put some water or your colour on your palette, and you just draw it back so it all sticks back together again. But I think the problem you're having then is you're using too much water on the Hake for when you get to the passages where you want to do it a bit dry. So it's always going to be a bit of a compromise, but you have to learn to use it. I struggle with it sometimes, and I've got 3 of them in various states of decrepitude. But overall, they do so much. You get wide strokes. You do your branches. You can do very fine work. You can do big tree trunks. You can break it up and stipple, and by and large, it's worth all the effort. The other problem is that if you find that you've got too much water when you get to your foreground, having done the sky, it's probably because you made your paper too wet to start with. You don't want the water running off of your page, because what will happen when you put your more paint back into the wetness, it will just dissipate. It'll just go everywhere, and you'll lose it. You'll lose the depth of colour that you intended and your tones. And naturally, by the time I get to the bottom of the page, the water's soaked in or dried up, whatever you want to say, and the paper starts then to dry brush. Well, that's what you want. That's what I want. And then if you want to go over your passages, you just make sure the paper's bone dry by using a hairdryer, and then you can gently re-wet it without disturbing the colour underneath, and carry on. Anyway, little lesson there. So I'll wet the paper all over. And a bit more. Then if you think there's too much water on, just dry your brush off and then go over the wet paper and take some of the water off. Now that's okay. I've wet everything there, and that gives me enough time to sort out what sky I'm going to do. They're just variations of the theme, really. The other tip. Yes, Maria keeps coming up with these great tips. She says to try putting the brush in very hot water, in a cup, very hot water. I wouldn't say it's boiling, but very hot water, and leave it for a few minutes just to see what happens. But you see my brush is clumped now, so into the water, and then look, it's come back together again. So it's not such a problem. So that's so thanks for that, Maria. I will try that with these brushes later on. Every little helps. Okay, so a mountainous scene, but low down, and some trees in the drying paper. A stormy sky. I don't like plain blue skies. I like a bit of character in them. You've got all this lovely paint, you've got to use it. So, as the paper stretches, just put it tight and carry on. You don't need to shrink your paper. It's fine like this, right? So I'll put a bit of raw sienna. And just over the whole lot, leaving out some bits as well. I must clean my board because it's got all this dry grey on it, and I'm going to put in a bit of red, just a little bit, because this red, the light red, is very, very strong, and I want that quite low down in the horizon. I can put a bit more. It's a bit up here, just to add some colour with the raw sienna behind your clouds. Just a blush. Now my usual two colours for clouds is light red and ultramarine. So let's just I've got a clump of blue somewhere on the brush. Now we don't know at this stage just how this is going to pan out. Just get a bit of darker colour in there. This all dries lighter, you have to make allowances for that, so let's just get some smaller clouds. Just some cloud shadow. Okay, reclip. Got a bit of plaster over my thumb. I was doing curries last night and I was chopping up the vegetables. Having been a carpet fitter for 40 years, I work with razor sharp knives, and all my kitchen knives, or our kitchen knives, are like carpet knives. You can cut carpet with them. And I got just a bit too close with my chopping my onions in tiny little pieces and slice the skin off the top. So I'm wearing a plaster so that it doesn't split. Okay, now I'll show you how I've arranged my table. There's my box. There's my box easel, all my paints, and I've got my pad of towel cloth in this tray here. My putty rubber. They usually end up round, falling on the floor. I can't find them for days. I've got several, but the funny thing is, when you order paints and you try to save the postage, because you get free postage over £45, etc., invariably your order falls a few pence short, so you end up buying a cheap putty rubber, and that's what that is. I've got them all over the place, but I lose them, as you can see. But anyway, right, so let's put a bit of nice blue, a bit stronger than that. Try not to make everything look the same when you do this. I'm going to darken now, but a bit of red on there. When I do this, I try to use lots of different colours. Bit of lemon yellow in there. So if when you scrape out, you can. Well, that'll do for that. I want to just build up a distance under there, but that's gone a little bit. Well, it doesn't really matter, but that blends a bit. It leaves that sort of line across where the blue won't quite blend. But that's okay, we can just go over it a bit. Just to put a bit of, I'm trying to put a bit of mist in it. So I'll clean my brush and I'll just just drag that down a little bit there. Keep it a bit soft, so let's just... Okay, so what happens then? Now we'll come in with some, let's add some different colours, so some burnt sienna. This will be a closer one, a warmer. Got some nice yellow in there. So well, I'm going to scrape out some of this. Get that across there. Put some dark on here just to, so it registers. You need to put this on thick. Just a bit of tree coming down. We're trying to create some distance and some actual landscape, and I just got a bit to quiet with that, so I'm just going to take some of that out and just put another colour in there. I like using light red and burnt sienna in the foreground. And we'll just put a bit of rocky stuff in here. If you're going to do this, you need your paint nice and thick and a bit dark. So when you scrape it, you get the nice contrast between the dark and the light. Always light against dark. And we'll do some trees here. So we've got these planes, and just while it's damp, just putting in some bits of hedgerows, like just a bit of detail to make it a little bit interesting. Let's just see what happens to that. See how fine you can get with the corner of the hake. Okay, so we'll go back over the top of the, right, oh no, before I forget, let's just put a bit of texture in here. Right, we can put some little sheep here. Right, flock of sheep. Okay, there's not a lot behind there, so we'll just do a little bit of detail here. As it dries, you'll get the harder edge, the harder stuff. Okay, so we've got this to fill in now, so we'll put a bit of a green in there. Let's just move the clip down. Brush strokes going the way of the landscape. But that's further back than that, so I'm going to do my trees, my warm trees on here. Warm colour. Okay, and we can put in some bit of texture in this here. Right. Okay. A little bit of a blur there. I must say I'm getting carried away with doing these little trees, but I think they are nice. No, let's just put okay. Well, now we want to put some harder trees in there and the left behind those rocks. So burnt sienna, yellow, lemon yellow and blue. A nice dark green. I'll just put that in there. I know I've done this lots of times before, but they all end up different. Thick paint. Oh, just a bit of texture in this here now. Right, okay, so that is about it. I don't want to put anything in there. That's the mist, that's a cloud going across there. I'll just put some birds in, but I'll have to use the rigger for that. I'm not going to put any more detail. The cloud, this is a cloud shadow going across there. This is lighter catching that light. That's the idea anyway. Now I'll get my bird brush, maybe put a figure or two in there. So, okay, so I'll just pull that flat again. No, I'm not going to put any figures on there. I don't think it needs any. No, the landscape is too far back for them to show. So I'll just sign it. Okay. Put that in the blue mount. So there we are. It's a low horizon. I suppose I could put something to focus the attention, but I don't know what really, because you won't see anything in this mist. But that's gone a bit blue, a bit of a cauliflower there, but the rest of it is not too bad. But we do need something to focus our attention, don't we? So I know what we can do. We can bit in half, but I'll probably ruin it. Let's put in some hints of buildings. Just, I'll use this little flat brush here, and just got a bit of a church spire there. Grey, you want grey for that. Just a country parish. Oh well, that's something, isn't it? That'll be focus. Something just to rest the eyes. Have a swig of tea. Right, let's have a look. I've got a bit red on that. Should be better with a bit more blue. Anyway, we'll zoom in and have a look. So it's fairly clean. The sky, I'm quite pleased with the sky. Let's zoom. So there's the centre hills with the cloud. That's worked quite well. So that's where it's gone a little bit awry. But let's go to, there's a little church and building on the hill. I think the roof's going downhill, but hang on. I'll change that. I'll just alter it. So that's my right hand side. So I'll zoom out again. And I'll just move you back a bit. And I'll just straighten the roof up of the church, because it's just a little bit going downhill. Put that chimney there. Right, okay, nothing more. That is it. Thanks for watching. I might do another one, I might not, but see you soon. Enjoy your holiday. Bye bye.